What's up, everyone? The Panda Photographer. So I'm gonna go through the process and how I add. So I want you guys to follow along very quickly, but follow along as I add. Now, some of you may edit your videos differently, but this time around, I normally add my photos. I put assemble everything together at first, but since I'm going to be using certain music tracks for certain clips, I'm going to show you the process on how I'm going to add my next video that I'm going to upload to the platform, which is YouTube. So if you guys are new to the channel, please subscribe, like, share the content. If you guys want to support the channel, the links are down in the description below. There is a PayPal donation link if you do want to support me as a travel photographer and videographer and documentarian. But I'm going to show you how to add videos. So, fair warning, this is shot in 1080p, 60 frames a second, but I'm not going to downsample it at all. Normally, I downsample 4K footage to 1080p, 30 frames a second. But with this said, let's go on with this. So this is my first clip, and I'm going to scroll through the process on the first clip. Now, I did add a sequence, and then I did add a transition. Now, I do have transitions, which I will show you in a bit, and the presets here. I got a glitch effect. I got a weird vibe effect, but then I got all these other transition effects here, like a smash zoom, which I would altered, and I got a swipe as well. And I got a triangular somewhere in here, there it is. Wait, nope. That is the iris triangle. All right, there you go. So I'm gonna do the N, and see that is where the transition starts. So the only way to speed this transition up is, you see where the points are? This is why I wasn't able to do it in the private room early today because I'm having Wi-Fi issues in the rooms now. It seems like the Wi-Fi is not getting through the glass windows. And you know how Wi-Fi frequency bounces off glass sometimes. So I'd rather do it out here from now on. So this is the transition, but we want to actually process this transition a little bit faster. So as you see, it slides in. So what we want is to make it a little bit more faster. That would be our endpoint. So we're gonna just take that endpoint from the beginning, line it up there. Then we're gonna take our other endpoint, take it, score to where I stop it right there. So it's gonna fade in and do the triangular effect. So how I did the fade in was I just added apply a video transition, and boom, you see how that really came together really quickly? Boom. Let me show you guys how it looks. So here we are. So once again, just look at it closely. Boom. See, it fades and there's a transition to the triangular fade in. So gives the video a little bit more creativity here. Boom. See? The next step, what I'm going to do is, what I like to do is add let's go back in projects. Just do adjustment layout. And as you can see, it's 1920 by 1080, 60 frames per second. And what I'm going to do is add this adjustment layer, because I'm going to do a color grading. So the color grading is going to be on top of all the footage here. Now I am going to add a lux, maybe do some color grading to this. So what I'm going to do is type in an effects, new mix, and then it pops up really quickly. As you can see, it's a bunch of cool ones. Now I don't have Film Convert plugged in because, as I said, all my other software is on this hard drive, which is unfortunate. So I'm not going to show you how to do film convert. And you know, guys, I'm a big fan of film convert. Big fan. And I have it on that drive. But right now, we're going to just do a simple... And what we're going to do here is going into color. And we're going to go into the creative. And we're going to just go through each one of these. Let's just reset this to none. Actually, let's do that instead. Let's actually remove this. Clear this out. And we're going to add an effect to here, like a Kodak. See, I like the Kodak 5218 because it really works well with the iPhone. So this was shot with the iPhone, 60 frames a second, 1080p. Now, I was hand-holding this, so bear with me. Now, there's a place here in the library called the Bubble. And honestly, I'm not a big fan of how they teach people how to video ed. That's a process. And I might sound biased right now, but I was in there the other day trying to figure out what they were doing. And I'm going to show you guys how I edit videos. And you guys see me edit my videos all the time. So I like this one. But also like the 20, I do like the 2383. I mean the 2383, but this is the Kodak 5218 Kodak 2383. Now, if you guys don't know about the color Kodak, I would do that in another video to teach you guys how to color grade. But we're gonna choose the 5218 Kodak 2395 by Adobe. Now, the intensity I am going to bring up just a bit. I want more of that film look. Now, I do want a little bit of sharpness. The sharpness sometimes adds a little too much grain or too much blurred. So, if you want to blur something out of the background and focus something in on top of it, you can do that as well. What I mean is that you can blur the background out, like I just did, but it just makes it soft. You see? It makes it really, really soft. So what we want is to, increase that sharpness by 7%. And you can see where it, now if we do 75% zoom in, the Pateron has a nice light on it, so it's the main subject. It's going to focus on that. So I do want to bring up a little bit of vibrance, but bring down the saturation just a bit. We're going to make the saturation come down by, just say 95. And then I'm going to add I'm going to add a sRGB curve for the whites. And I'm going to just make some points here. Bring this down a little bit. Bring it to the center. Make the S curve a little bit for that color. We're going to zoom back out and see how that looks. Alright. So do it based on taste, ladies and gentlemen. So if you like something more with a little bit more pop, you can. But we're going to just bring it up just a bit. Just a slight hinge. Then we're going to bring the blacks up just a little tiny bit. See? And then bring this down just slightly, so there's like a slight S curve into that. So next step I would do is go back into creativity and and what I would like to do is bring down the highlights just a bit, not too much, and tap it up the shadows a little bit. Just tap it. Exposure, just a little bit. Oh my goodness, these hobos. No offense, but somebody need to go get a job. I'm bringing down the exposure down just a little bit to give it more of a contrasty, more of a film look. I'm not sure if this video is doing it any justice. Oh wait, and then we're gonna just cool it just a little bit. Because if this was film convert, I would show you how I cool my footage. But we're gonna bring down just slightly, just that much. Boom. So, and now we're gonna go back into the clip, and as you can see, it plays nice and smoothly. That whole entire clip just plays nice and smoothly. Now I'm not sure if this is doing you guys justice, you can see it, but let me just move the camera just a slight little bit so you guys can see, because this is what I'm working with. Now I'm gonna just add my song called Rooftop. I'm gonna put it down on the audio 4, or just bring it up to audio, just bring it down audio 4 just in case. So now okay, so I like the song, so I'm gonna let you guys listen to this track really quickly. So I'm gonna start it off with now. And that's when I'm gonna cut it. As soon as I hit that bass drop, I'm gonna cut it to the next scene. So just try to time this right. Look at the audio meter. Right there. It's where I'm going to actually cut it. Cut that part and also cut the footage, because I don't want to use all the footage. Because this clip, I'm going to have to make adjustments to this part of the adjustment layer. Now what I'm going to do next is show you how I'm going to expand the adjustment layer. Each time I put a clip, I'm going to adjust the adjustment layer as I go along. And since now I'm going to add a clip, now we're going to choose a clip. And what I want is this clip with no audio. So we're going to unlink the audio, and then we're going to select the audio, then we're going to clear the audio from the timeline. And the next step is to see if this matches well. If it doesn't match well, I choose another clip. So see, now I gotta make that timing right. See, I just feel like it's not queuing on time. See, it's just a slight delay. So I'm gonna push this up a little bit, and then. But then again, look at the transition as I go along. See that fade and triangle transitions? It's perfect. That's perfect. I just want you guys to hear this. Hear this. I'm gonna put the headphones on, and I want you guys to listen carefully. Listen carefully and watch the clip. See, right on cue. Right on cue. Now, mind you, you see this bar down here? You can expand or shorten the clip too, if you want. So, if you need to get really, really precise, you can do that. So we're gonna leave it where I had it. Actually, we're gonna just leave it where I had it, right about there. So what I want to do with this clip now is, you see how I can actually cause that clip to look much better by just unphasing that from the scene. But I am going to do a little bit of adjustment here, make the sunset a little bit more poppy with colored, bring down the noise. And so we're gonna save the project just in case Adobe does crash, because Adobe Premiere does crash at some point. So the next step is for me, if you guys want to support the channel, please do like, share. This is on the fly, live stream. Okay? But what I want to do is speed up this time, this clip here. So what I'm going to do is do it by 500 and see how that works out for me. See, and there is my second cut of the video. The beat starts to get into its momentum, and that's where I'm going to cut. Because it goes, you hit the drummer, you hit the. So, listen carefully once again. I'm going to take this back. Just listen. So you understand where I'm going with the beat. I'm trying to put some momentum in with the beat and with the soundtrack. So it's more ideal for your entertainment watching needs. So okay. If I want to be more precise, okay, that's perfect. Okay, so now I need to speed this up a little bit more faster. So we're gonna do 900. Nope. I'm gonna undo that clip. All right, and what I'm going to do next, come on. I need to do it by 899. Let's see how that works. I want. Okay, so I'm unable. Let's see here. Let's do. And speed this up. I'm gonna take this clip. I'm gonna move the bar and I'm gonna clip it just right there. Now, the next step I'm going to do, so I'll take that 6-minute clip, speed it up, cut it. So I took that cut, it should be like 3 minutes into what, few seconds. So this layer adjustment, what I'm going to do is go back in here to the creatives, and I'm going to add more of a saturation look. I'm going to decrease the sensitivity of this clip right here. I am going to choose a different Kodak this time, see which works better. So what we're going to do is start over. See what looks better. Why is it going through here? Okay. What we're going to do is just leave it alone. Leave the sensitivity alone. Add a little bit of sharpness. Add a little bit of vibrance. Leave the saturation. Go back to basic corrections. I'm going to bring down the highlights, bring down the shadows because there's a lot of noise. Because I want it a little darker than before. I don't want to crush the blacks too much. And bring down the whites just a bit. Bringing in the contrast just slightly. And give this a little bit more of a warm touch. Slightly the warm touch. Now, editing the YouTube content doesn't take a matter of like an hour or so. If you take your time, like I'm doing right now, I'm going to try to make it as good as possible. Now, what I'm going to do is zoom in by 75%. Make sure that I got enough of the noise out of here. So I am going to see how there's a noise. So I do want to make sure that I'm not crushing the shadows too much. Yeah, I don't want to crush the shadows too much. So we're just going to bring it down by, let's just bring it about 12%. Negative 12%. Negative 12%. And we're going to zoom back out. I want to see how that looks. To me, it looks a little too grainy. So what I want to do is fix this adjustment layer. Fix the curves, I'm sorry, the RGB curves. So I'm going to fix it. Straighten this out a little bit. Bring this in more. Bring this out more. There we go. Slight adjustment. Slight adjustment. Right there. The whites and then the reds. Boom. Boom. Meet the center. Boom. Now for the reds. Just bring this up a little bit. Don't want it too punchy. Because I really want that golden hour look. Just slightly right there. And the blues, bring those up. Bring those up. Making keyframes in the curve. I know, like I said, everyone has a different taste on how they edit their videos, but this is how I pursue it. So do want some of that blue hour in there because it was transitioned from blue hour. Can leave that right there and right there. So we're gonna just see how this looks. Okay, so that looks pretty good. That looks good. But here's the problem. Now I have to move this adjustment layer up. Bring this in more. to match. I have to match the clip. Boom. Now I gotta move this over. I gotta move this over just a bit and this over just a bit. Now we can even this together. Bingo. Fix it up, retouch it. And then the next adjustment layer, and I keep doing this till the clips are getting done. So I am similar the clips based on how I'm going to actually do the next scene. The next scene, I may do this one. No, we already did this one. Let's do this. Let's do this one. I'm gonna take this clip out. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna unlink the audio because I don't want to use the audio for this one. And I am going to speed this duration. Actually, I need to cut it out first. We need to play back this. So now I gotta flow with the beat. Right there. Boom, boom. Now we can clear the clip. And now we can go back and we can. So right now I'm assimilating and doing color grade at the same time. So I'm trying to kill two birds with one stone. So I'm gonna go back. That one didn't seem on cue. Yeah, that one seemed a little bit off cue. Okay, so what I need to do is expand this more. So I'm gonna have it right on cue as the beat transitions itself. So what I'm going to do next is just listen to the soundtrack carefully. Okay. That's not what I was looking for. So, here we go. Maybe just a little bit too short. Alright. So, this is too fast. See, somewhere right about... right there. Boom. 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 Now, make sure that hits them. So, here it is. Let you guys listen to the whole, how this is going to transition. So, just make sure that slight delay. There's a slight delay there. So what I'm going to do is fine touch it really quickly. Right there. Okay, my mouse is disconnected for some reason. Okay. I'm gonna fix the timeline. And this should be perfect. Okay, so that seems a little bit better. So we're gonna stretch this back in, and I'm gonna play it back for you once more. So let me play this clip back, so you guys can see. right there is when the next beat drops. So I gotta move this up a little bit, expand this up a little bit. Okay, so that seems about right. So the most important thing is that if you're going to use a soundtrack, try to flow with the beat as much as possible. So you give your audience some rhythm so they can like it, so they can bounce to the beat. And I know you guys are probably going to enjoy this video that I'm going to be making. So the next clip here is I'm going to do the fine color adjustments again. And this one, I'm going to add, nope, we're going to go in creative, sorry. This one, let's add something more. I like this one. I like the Fuji internal 250D Kodak 2395 from Adobe. So I am going to be making some more adjustments to this with the basic color. So I am going to bring the highlights down just a bit. See, I need to bring the highlights down. I need to emphasize that sky. So, and also need to bring down the exposure just a bit. And I think I want to bring down the contrast just a bit. Bring down the shadows. Bring up the shadows, sorry. Bring up the shadows maybe. Yeah, bring up the shadows just a bit. And let's add some blacks in there. See, do the fine adjustments as I'm doing along to see where you can make the adjustments and make it look good. So if I'm correct, I'm going to leave it right about there, and I'm going to bring the whites down just a bit. Just a bit. And I'm going to actually put in some of that blue sky in. I don't want it to be too warm, but I also want it to be nice and neutral. So I'm in the neutral zone. So this is cool, this is warm. I'm right in the neutral zone still, and the color temperature. And the next step I'm going to do is bring in some vibrance in here and increase the saturation. Just a bit. About 115. And then I'm going to actually do a bit of a color adjustment.
Are you podcasting?
I am podcasting.
Okay, cool.
See, in the color adjustment, see, as the color shift, there's a color shift. You see that? You see what happens to the blues and the reds? So we're going to fix that. So intensify this just at 100%. And I'm going to bring the blues, the blue tint, and the highlights. I do want the highlights to be a little bit warm. Just a little bit. Just a snip. Just a snip. Not too much. And then I'm going to take the SPRG curve again. This time we're going to reset SPRG curve and bring this down just a bit, because I want to emphasize these clouds a little bit. I want them to pop a little more. So this footage was taken at Ramona. So, and then I'm gonna bring down the blacks. Should I bring the blacks, or should I bring? I think I'm gonna actually push the blacks up a little bit, because that looks a little bit cool. And then push this up as well. Or we can do this, but I'm just going to be creating something a little more dramatic. I'm doing it too much dramatic right there now. Now that I'm just pushing it. See how far I'm pushing it? I don't want to push it too far. So we do want to make sure that there is a point here as well. Let's make the fine adjustment. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go down more. Bring this up a little bit. Yep, because I do want to see that golden hour on the clouds, that little sun that's giving the clouds a little bit of red to it. So, and then we can play it back. See, what I do need to do is get an investment and buy an ND filter for this iPhone, but $70 for an ND filter for an iPhone is just overpriced, where I can purchase a $70 ND filter for my camera or my lenses. So all these clips were shot with the iPhone. Simple, easy. Okay, so now I'm gonna play the audio back for you one more time so you guys get a good understanding of where I'm going with this. And then we'll cut that clip there again. And then what I'm going to do is an audio change. The audio change is where I'm going to fade the audio into another audio really quickly, into something more fast-paced, like this clip. So what I'm going to do next is take one of my soundtracks, go in here to my non-copyright, and I'm going to select a little bit more fast beat. So what I'd like to do is open with Windows Player, just to give me a good sample. I don't want that, so I need something a little more fast paced. So I'm going to do this instead. This is a little too hardcore. Okay, this is more like it. So second clip, boom, and then what I'm going to do is expand both. What the hell? Okay, so what I like to do is add keyframes. So right about here is where I'm going to add a keyframe here, and then add another keyframe here, and on this keyframe here for the second audio on track 3. We're going to select this audio, and we're going to add that keyframe there. And if you really want to be precise with the audio, add another keyframe. Give it a nice transition. Give this one a nice transition as well. So I need to stretch that keyframe out just a little bit more. Gotta make it sound good. So what I'm going to also do is add a audio transition. See how that sounds. But what we're going to do is clip it right about there. Let's do this instead. We're gonna push this to the end. We're gonna stretch it as much as possible. I'm gonna stretch this as well. And then we're gonna take this keyframe, stretch it just a bit. What I want to do is line it up with this audio, make sure it's precise. There we go. And then play this track back again. Okay, Okay, now we can add this clip. Sorry. And what we need to do is, oh no, let's go back up here. I need to delete this audio, unlink it once again, clear it. And what I want to do is now add an effect. So I don't want more mix. We're gonna go to the presets. We're gonna go to my effects, and we're gonna do an action swipe. Swipe in. So what we need to do is fix that swipe, and we're gonna need to go in here, and we need to make fine adjustments. So we know that we wanted the keyframe to be here, so right about there and right about there. So what I do want is this clip will be a little bit longer than usual. Have this adjustment layer on top of each other, just for demonstration purposes. And so what I need to do is probably not use this and use this instead. So here we go. Now the second clip, what I'm going to do is bring the audio down. Okay, I need to play this through. I tried to do something with the gimbal and the iPhone and had it on my backpack, but it didn't work out. Watch what happens. Just watch what happens. And within a few seconds, this is what happens. The gimbal and the tripod starts to tip over, and then I hit the coffee sign. Boom! So we need to get rid of that. So let's go wait. I'm gonna cut it. We're gonna cut the clip. I'm just gonna play it through. Or we should fast forward this to right there. Okay, now we can clear that part and bring this back in. We can bring this back in, and then we can move this over. We can speed this duration up on this clip, or what I should do first before I do anything to this clip is cancel out. Is what I need to do next is warp stabilize it just a little bit. And just bring this up 500. Actually, I want it shorter than that then. Let's do 800. Kind of want to shorter than that now. Let's do a 4999. Okay, didn't give me much. I might have to cut it. So it's gonna speed through. See? This is what I'm gonna do with the beat and this. So I like the beginning, the first beginning. See? So we're gonna go back, couple of keyframes. And then we're gonna cut this part, clear it out, push it in. I am gonna add a transition, don't worry, to make it look cool. So the transition should still be there. And the transition is not there. So what we need to do is fix the transition. So we need to clear it out, clear out. I don't know what happened to my zoom transitions. This is weird. So what I do want to do is stabilize this footage. So and cut that clip right there. I get enough from that. Go back. So I am assembling and doing color gradient. Just want to stabilize this just a little bit. So I'm going to do 7%. And I do want to analyze it. See, that's a messed up thing. You know, I can do this in Final Cut and then stabilize it. I need to do this in After Effects. So we're gonna cancel out and just keep it the way it is, I guess. Okay, so we got this part down. See, to me, it's just, did I need to cut this? Clear. Just to beat really fast. And then we can go back into this stage and expand it. But I want to do something a little bit different with the clip. Kind of want to do something with the transition. Now, I can take this in After Effects and do it that way. Actually, just do that instead. Just take this in After Effects.
Too loud. Too loud.
So I'm gonna probably have to take the clip into After Effects. So next up, and you guys are probably wondering, why do you gotta pay for After Effects? Such an expensive software. It's worth it. It's worth it. Some people wanted me to private, illegally download it, and I was like, no. I'm sorry, I kind of want the updates. And when you illegally download Premiere products, you don't get updates. And it's so important to just purchase it. Now, keep in mind, I get charged every month for these, and it's not cheap. So that's another thing about being a travel photographer and a documentarian and a licensed documentarian, is that it helps to pay for this kind of software, because people like to illegally download it, but they don't realize that you get nothing, no benefits from that. So what I'm gonna do is take the clip, import a file, go into my E drive, and we're gonna look for the travel log, micro lens, and we're gonna take this exact same clip and we're gonna play it back. And what we want to do, effects. Actually, let's bring this down to the timeline. Oops, what is going on here? Alright, so we got this in the timeline. You can play this if you want, but we kind of want to skip through this process. We want to stabilize it right about there. So what I'm going to do is, oh man, uh-oh, gimbal kind of went dead. Don't know why. The gimbal went dead. That's strange. Very strange. Oh, it is dead. So guys, I'm gonna have to cut the live stream because the gimbal went dead. It's plugged in. It shouldn't be draining the battery. But with that said, guys, I would do part 2 of this in another video so you guys can catch up on. But the final video should be out in maybe a day or 2. Depends on how much I work on it and stuff like that. But other than that, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for tuning in. Go to my website, 616studios.com. I have tutorials on photography, videography, as a photographer, travel photographer, and documentarian. So it's good to do videos like this on a live stream. But I would have done this. Oh, I went that. I would have done this through the computer, but I don't want it to lag. So with that said, eat, sleep, photography, videography, repeat. See you guys in the next video.